Good day, sir. We are from Group 20. I'm Ong Yingzi and my group mates Li Kaishen, Li Chiwa, and Henke Fei. We are going to present the Smart Cooking application. Smart Cooking application is a cooking method involving human innovations and modern technology. It can help the user while cooking by providing information such as recipes, calories, and nutrients of the dishes. It can be achieved through real-time data collection. Meanwhile, smart cooking application development relies on an IoT-based system which can be used to collect the data coherently without involving any humans. Since people are always thinking about what to cook every day, especially during the pandemic, it slowly becomes a tough challenge as they do not know what to cook for their meals. It is because they must consider the nutrition they require, the ingredient availability, and the difficulty of cooking the meal. The objective of the project is to develop a smart application that can guide the user to cook and to help the user to decide what to cook for his meal. So, the proposed smart cooking application designed to help the user cook by giving suggestions based on the selections of the user. It will analyze the data given by the user to recommend several related recipes. Once the user chooses a recipe, the app will display the recipe on the device step by step. It will also give some information about the meal, such as calories, nutrients, and so on. In the future, the smart cooking application could provide a personalized cookery recipe to the user. The user can modify the recipe based on the choice of an individual. Furthermore, the app also can suggest similar ingredients to the user if the individual lacks the required ingredients to increase the system flexibility, especially to those allergic to specific food substances. Could connect to the cooking appliances in the user's kitchen. The future trend of most smart devices and applications is being automatic. The automatic operation can reduce the time waste. Hence, with the add of connected cooking appliances, the cooking journey of an individual could be faster and more efficient.
Hi, my name is Li Kaishen, and I'm going to talk about the literature review. For the first application review is the Big Oven. It is an intelligent app that makes the cooking process simple. It allows the users to search for recipes, or they can also enter the ingredients to get the recipe. This application has more advantages compared to weaknesses. These advantages includes flexibles on both iOS and Android OS, do not force registration to use the features, only pay for access advanced features, simple and clean UI, and the last one is advanced functionalities. For the next application review is Yum. It is a cooking recipe application that only available on the Android platform. It provides many traditional and instant recipes that only use simple ingredients to the users. The advantages of this application is having simple interface and easy to use, while the disadvantages includes lacking user preference functions, requires a good internet connections, and unable to enter food ingredient manually. For the last application review, Chef Tab is an application that let the users to search and store recipes. The best part of this application is that it summarizes the recipe in a proper way by categorizing them into ingredients and cooking steps. The advantages of Chef Tab is free of charge and providing the detailed user manual. The next one is convenient for cooking lover and can be used offline. However, it has one downside is that it is expensive to unlock the features. Now I'll pass my part to the next member. Thank you.
Hi everyone, this is our architecture diagram, and we mainly use 5 services in AWS to applying the smart cooking apps, which include Amazon Chronicle, Amazon API Gateway, AWS Lambda, S3 Bucket, and the DynamoDB. And all the device can go through this internet and go inside and enter our system. And this Amazon API gateway is play a gateway role that allow other device or user get inside our system. And once the user register an account, this Amazon Chronicle will play a management role that manage all the user account and user security, account security. And this AWS Lambda is to get the user inputs such like ingredients. This Lambda will get the ingredients that user input and go and put inside the S3 buckets. And the other one, Lambda, is plays the role that gets the data from this S3 buckets and put inside this DynamoDB. This DynamoDB will store all the recipes and all the favorite ingredients such like user ingredients or user favorite recipes or ingredients. And this Amazon DynamoDB will retrieve the data that store contains all the user ingredients, and this Lambda will get these recipes and put inside these S3 buckets, and this Lambda will get the recipes that store inside these S3 buckets and retrieve to the user by go through the Amazon API gateway. This is our whole architecture diagram meaning. Thank you.
Hi, my name is Li Chua. I will talk about the comparison of IoT service. The database service for AWS is Simple Storage Service and Elastic Compute Cloud. For Azure is Azure Blob Storage. For Google Cloud is Google Cloud Storage. The cost for AWS and Azure is cheap for long-term support, expensive for short-term support, while for Google Cloud Storage is cheapest among all. The development tools provided for AWS is AWS Cloud Development Kit. For Azure is Azure DevOps, and for Google Cloud is Cloud SDK. The security or identity management provided for AWS is Amazon Cognito, AWS Identity, and IAM. For Azure is Azure Identity Management and Azure AD. For Google Cloud is IAM and Cloud Identity. The computing service provided for AWS is AWS Lambda. For Azure is Azure Functions, and for Google Cloud is Google Cloud Functions. I will talk about the comparison of NoSQL database. I will first compare between DynamoDB and Apache Cassandra. The storage for DynamoDB is using keys value documented oriented, while Apache Cassandra is column oriented. DynamoDB does not allow more than one attribute into partition keys and clustering columns, while Apache Cassandra allows. The restriction number of tables for DynamoDB is 256 tables, while Apache Cassandra is 500 tables. Next, I will compare between Dynamo and Elasticsearch. The primary database model for DynamoDB is search engine, while for Elasticsearch is document and key value storage. DynamoDB supports Java Virtual Machine OS, while Elastic supports all types of OS. DynamoDB fulfills the transaction concept, while Elasticsearch does not. Next, I will compare between DynamoDB and MongoDB. DynamoDB allows for read and write to the same document, while MongoDB does not support multiple operations. DynamoDB only available on AWS platform, while Mongo can be used anywhere. DynamoDB format uses tables, items, attributes, while Mongo uses JSON-like documents. Next, I will talk about the comparison of relevant technologies. The compute engine used by AWS is EC2 and uses Docker and Kubernetes. For Azure is virtual machine and uses Azure Container Service and Container Service. And for Google is compute engine and uses Kubernetes engines. The storage used by AWS is S3, EBS, EFS. For Azure is cloud storage, persistent disk. And for Google is blob storage, queue storage, file storage, disk storage, Azure backup, site recovery, and archive storage. The database used by AWS is Relational Database Service, DynamoDB NoSQL, Aurora, Elastic Cache, Database Migration Service, For Azure is SQL database, MySQL database, Postgres database, and for Google is Cloud SQL, Cloud Spanner, Cloud Big Table, and Cloud Data Store. The networking used by AWS is VPC. For Azure is Azure Virtual Network, and for Cloud Virtual Network is for Google. The availability zone for AWS is 66, for Azure is 20, and for Google is 54.
Hi sir, it's me again. My name's Li Kai-shen, and now I'm going to talk about the system demo. So for this one, we have made 4 functions, which is smart cooking delete, smart cooking put, smart cooking update item, smart cooking get item. And then this function we're going to connect with our DynamoDB, and in DynamoDB we have made a table called food. And then in this food table, we have made 2 keys. For the first one, which is the primary key, is the food ID. In this food ID, why we use string, why we record it as a string is because that we want to make something like this. M1 means Malay 1 food, and then C1 means China 1 food, and then I1 means Indian 1 food, and then food name obviously is to store the food name. Okay, so let's go back to here. Then we can check out the first function, which is the smart cooking get. Smart cooking get. Okay, let's click on it. Okay, so this overall functions, I mean the code that, and then at here we can simply click on this test to actually run our code. And we can see that all the food name and item, food name and ID is printed at here. For example, you can see that food name is Murtabak, and then the food ID is M1, which is same at here. And then for the food name, Nasi Lemak, and M2 is at here also. So this is the first one. And for the second one will be the smart cooking put. Okay, so this is the overall code. And then let's say today we want to add a new food item into our table. So in our case, we want to make it as M3 add a new ID, and then the food name is nasi goreng. So okay, let's go to run our code. And then okay, so you can see this code. This means that our code is running successfully because based on here we can see that we use a try and catch error. If running here, which means okay, and if no error, then obviously won't go to here. So we will go here and then see that okay. So right now we go to our DynamoDB table. Then we click on refresh, and you can see that M3 nasi goreng is available in our table right now. So right now we're going to the next one, which is the update item. So in this code, it's all very easy because we only have to change the food ID and food name. Okay, so let's say I want to change nasi goreng into nasi putih. Okay, so right now I state our food ID and then I change the name. So click on the test to run our code. So we can see that the status code is actually okay instead of the 403. So which means that is okay So right now we go to this one. Okay, and then click on refresh. Again, you can see that actually become nasi putih already. So we go to the next one, which is the last one. Is the smart cooking delete. Okay, so this is the last one. We're going to use it to delete our food item inside this table. Okay, so this is the overall code, and then let's say today I want to delete M3. So I simply have to state the food ID, and then that's all. Yeah. So let's click on this test. So we can see that okay. So this data code is okay because you can see same example again, because you can see that here. Okay, so now we go to see M3 got or not. Okay, refresh again. Okay, so now don't have the M3 anymore. So that's all from us. Thank you very much.